You can make VSLs with no money.
Hello guys, Alex Fedotoff here, and today we have an amazing guest. This guy has made a fortune with VSLs, over $80 million in sales and revenue. Alex Micol here, expert with VSLs, and he'll share the secrets on how he did it.
Thanks for having me, Alex. Thank you. We share a great name. Yeah. It was $80 million in revenue for our clients, but in affiliate commissions, as I just checked, updated today, it's $55 million in revenue paid to our company from affiliate generated sales, and all from YouTube using video sales letters. So I want to talk everything about it today.
Very, very exciting. Yeah. I think very hot topic right now, VSLs, and you're one of the experts. Yeah. You've been doing VSLs when it wasn't even sexy. So that's why I'm very, very fascinated. So cool, man. So if you can, for people that don't know you, if you can kind of briefly explain your journey and how you got to this point.
I keep it very short. How did I ended up doing all of this? It was a slow start. So I started when I was 12, building Facebook fan pages around my idol Cristiano Ronaldo. I had a goal, and the goal was to have the biggest fan page about him after the official one. In a few years, I was able to accumulate on one single page 4 million followers, and I started making money from that because I was promoting other brands. And I understood that I was doing marketing. And at the age of 17, I bumped into affiliate marketing, and that's when I did my first $50,000 in profit in 1 year. And I could basically ignore school and just focus on my business. And to hell with all the teachers that were telling me that I'm not capable enough to succeed in life, because here I am today. Today I'm 26. Mm-hmm. And at 18, I started reinvesting my money in paid marketing, with paid media, starting with Facebook ads, promoting different affiliate marketing products. After a few years, I went into e-commerce, and I had my own e-commerce company where I would source, fulfill, and market products. So do the whole game, manage all the business. And it was quite interesting because I learned a series of things. I had to import products in different parts of the world, from Europe to more remote countries, more like Thailand or Cambodia, and also big markets as India. And then I understood that I want to live a better lifestyle at my age, because I'm still in my 20s, and that doesn't work if I work 15 hours per day. So I went back to affiliate marketing, which has only one responsibility, which is making the best ads in the game and trying to make as much money possible. And once you crack one campaign, you can go back sipping martinis at the pool. It's not a dream, it's actual reality if you do this game right. And in fact, when the campaigns are rolling, I just have to increase or decrease budgets and sometimes work on new ads to sustain the growth. So $55 million later, here we are, and I absolutely love YouTube and Facebook ads. I think they're the best platforms out there, and they're the only platforms at the moment where you can do $100,000 in a single day, repeatedly, consistently, in a predictable way.
Awesome, man. Yeah. Very, very fascinating journey. So your business model, as you mentioned, so you looked into e-commerce, but you decided to stick with affiliate marketing. So it's kind of because it would give you more freedom, of time, and also location freedom.
And more scale.
Yeah. So in terms of that, right, it's very fascinating because, you see, for instance, some industries or some offers are blowing up. So they have affiliates like you. They have very talented marketers, pretty much as an extension of their own teams. So what would you say are the top kind of maybe industries or top kind of offers that you consistently see crushing with that particular model? Because just to give you guys perspective, those of you who are not familiar with affiliate marketing, this is where you pay 50-60%, sometimes even more, of your revenue, front-end revenue, to affiliates, to people who promote your products. So what kind of products those need to be in order to justify this cost, right? Still, growing the business at the same time.
Yeah, so I think more than products, just to step back, it's more what type of company you need to be. competition is rising, and affiliate marketers are great at acquiring customers. So the revenue you pay affiliates is used usually to acquire customers. So big 9-figure brands understand this, that work with affiliates, and they're ready to pay out even 110% of the first revenue that someone generates, or even more than the revenue they generate. Why? Because they get a customer. And ideally, companies can still make profit on the first sales, maybe very little, but they still can make some ROI. And then all the money comes from the upselling part that happens after the first purchase. So if you want to implement affiliate marketing in your business, and you're an e-com owner and you're a brand, you should really understand what your goals are. And depending from what you're selling, just understand, okay, am I ready? Is my company ready to sustain, let's say, zero profits or very little profits at the beginning in order to acquire customers at a very fast pace? If the answer is yes, then you could very well do affiliate marketing, even lower, like in other countries, like not in the US is a red ocean. Let's take Europe or Italy as an example. I know many people, including myself in the past, we were making profits from the first sale, and you can still do that. I'm just saying on the long play, it will be needed to pay affiliates even more so that they can get you thousands of customers a day, and you can upsell the shit out of them afterwards and really profit from that. So you essentially outsource marketing. So that can be done. So the higher the commission, the higher the possible scale for you as a brand owner can be, if you do your own marketing or if you work with affiliates. It's better to work with affiliates rather than with, for example, agencies, because affiliates have the right incentive. And you will tell an affiliate, listen, my product price is $100. I can pay you $70. And that's it. Every sale, it will cost you $70, and and it's predictable that you will not lose money, or, that's the amount of money that you're ready to pay. And the affiliate has to work with that. So the incentive for an affiliate is to spend less of their own money, because you're not giving an affiliate any kind of money. They will invest their own money to generate these sales. An agency, on the other hand, has a wrong incentive. They will have KPIs, they will have a fee on the ad spend, and there will be a lot of fluctuations in your personal ROI experience for your own brand. So affiliates will always beat agencies simply because the incentive is based on a commission model more than, I don't know, a revenue share model or a fee on the ad spend. The incentive is just different. It's more controllable. In terms of products, I see anything can work in affiliate marketing. So apps or lead gen or supplements in the health space, and financial stuff, and even courses. So it's just a business model. In terms of products, you should always try to find the products that are more appealing to the masses in the biggest countries out there. So if you want to do $100,000 in a single day, it's gonna be more likely to do that in the States if you sell a supplement, a weight loss supplement, for example, compared to doing $100,000 a day in Italy selling a gadget for the garden. It can be done, but it's probably not sustainable, and it's probably just the peak, because Italy has 60 million people, and US has 330 million people. So just to set expectation. But right now I see, courses crushing it. I see lead gen crushing it, financial, motor vehicle accidents, things like that, but also all the supplements. So, and VSLs can be implemented in every category, pretty much. If you have a product to sell, what you're probably using right now, if you're watching this, is probably landing pages, pre-sale pages, advertorials, this and that. A video sales letters is nothing but the same thing, just transformed into video with its own psychology tricks and how you create the whole structure of the video. But essentially, it replaces pre-sale pages, etc. So my flows, for example, to give out something, I don't have a complex funnel. My funnel is VSL ad that lasts 32 minutes to 1 hour, straight to a product page. So I don't have complicated funnels in between. I'm not good at creating pre-sale pages anymore, because it's something that I don't practice anymore, because if they watch my ad long enough, that's the funnel. And then they get on the product page, and the only thing they have left to do is pick how many products they want to buy and check out and pay for it, and boom, it's done. So this is what I'm doing now. So yeah, this is in short.
Thank you, man. So with VSLs, right? VSLs is something that's like, it's kind of like very hot topic right now. Even though, I mean, they've been around for, you know, dozens of years now. So with VSLs, like, so when you come in, like say, like new offer, new everything, like what's your process? Like, where do you even start with like VSLs, and also like knowing what you know now? Like, let's say you have no more like business, right? Let's say just kind of like for illustration purposes, you have to make it work. What do you do? What's your process for making like VSLs work from the start?
Yeah. So I developed, at first I was just testing everything and see what sticks, but you develop a feeling. So I have a 3-step process. It's very simple. First thing I take a look at is the brand quality. Doesn't matter what we're talking about. I want to see if they have good endorsements, if they work with celebrities, if they have good quality products, because I don't want to sell any junk online. It's important to mention ethics. And I want to see if they have, in general, a good reputation on the internet, and if their product works. The second thing I take a look at is their video materials, because we work with video platforms such as Facebook and YouTube, biggest out there. So I want to make sure that I don't have to create something from scratch, because if I do that, then I can very well create my own company and blow that one up and build it out for someone else for equity. But if someone provides me with video materials already, ideally a VSL that I can start working with, then that's something I take in consideration. And the third thing is obviously the margins that are given to me. So a commission, a payout, a revenue share, the financial incentive. So if those 3 things are in place, and depending on what niche we're talking about, the numbers make sense to me, then I will give it a fair shot on my ad accounts with my own money, and I will start promoting it.
Gotcha. Yeah. And so in terms of like creating the VSL and the structure for VSLs, like, you know, there's a lot of people that kind of, they just swipe, and that's probably common practice, like they swipe the best performing VSLs and then kind of like rewriting those same VSLs for their own products. Is that also the kind of like what you do for the most part? Or do you kind of like instill some of your own like creativity? Obviously at this point you already have like more experience, like kind of what's your approach to that?
Okay, so if you're copy pasting ads, it can work, but you will be one step behind everyone. So it's an affiliate marketing technique to copy paste things. It works. Me personally, I don't do that. And I think personally, me and my partner and the company we work with, we did set the standard of how a VSL should look like, simply because I don't think there are bigger campaigns out there. And if now some other campaigns are picking up, is they heavily took inspiration from what we did. And I can see it by just seeing the scripts of these VSLs, the hooks, the language model, the open loops that are being used, and that's okay. And that brings me to the next point. I want to stay fresh with ideas and not copy too many. Like, I know there are people out there saying to copy paste things, and it works. Like, it's nothing that it's gonna work. So if you copy things, it's always gonna work for some time. What happens when hits the fan and, you know, the VSL doesn't work anymore that you copy paste it? You need to create new things. So I like to stay on that on that mindset, because I want to create new things. So I take inspiration from YouTubers. I take inspiration from movies, from actual stories, because VSLs work the best if there is a story involved, and you don't even have to be like an excellent copywriter, but if you have the capability to share a story in a compelling way and structure it in blocks, we can cover that in a second, then you're going to succeed. So, and what I look at also at the brands, to go circle back on that, I check if, you know, there is a compelling story to it in the video sales letter. So not just, I don't know, I look at the quality of how it's produced, because I was so spoiled to work with the best in the game. I'm very picky with the brands I work with, especially also my partner. Like, I'm more open to test more things. My partner is like, yes or no, and usually it's a no. We test so few companies right now because we just know how a VSL has to look like. So you can copy paste, you can copy the structure, and you can apply it in different industries. So that's gonna work. But because I feel like we're doing something new every time we bring it out, people copy from it, I have to stay creative and learn from, you know, steal like an artist, like the book, take inspiration from different parts, not just Vitao or the Meta ad library, and copy other winning VSLs, but stay fresh and look at Hollywood movies, Netflix series. The hooks in Netflix are insane. What Mr. Beast does, all of that. That's what I do. Yeah.
Interesting. So you mentioned like one of the things that you do is your VSLs are usually longer, like 30 to 60 minutes, right?
Yeah, so as an ad, because long VSLs were always out there. You know, you had like a short ad leading to a VSL page, but what we started doing 4 years ago was uploading the VSL directly as an ad to remove any sorts of obstacle in between the user experience for the users to actually get to pay. So that was what blew up, and that's why the VSL topic is so hot now, because you start seeing these 40 minutes video ads popping out, and you're like, holy shit, I never thought about running such a long ad, because everyone says, oh, ads longer than 45 seconds, 2 minutes, 3 minutes are not going to work. Even Google itself will tell you that videos longer than 3 minutes usually don't perform as well as shorter than 3 minutes. And by the way, YouTube is pivoting on shorter content form, unfortunately, and it's very noticeable if you run YouTube traffic, because they're penalizing with less inventory, higher CPMs. So that's happening, probably because, I don't know, the biggest YouTube channels where we spend on like Fox News and things like that, they might have complained that we're stealing views. I don't know what happened, but it did happen. I have a call with Google to go deeper in this, because I'm still curious about why they did this. So that's kind of changing. But the VSL remains the same, whether it's as an ad or on a landing page. The VSL is a VSL and will always continue to perform. The ad, the hook, that needs to be adapted now to this new transition. On Facebook, on the other hand, for now, nothing changed. It's still crushing, banging, 40-minute, 1 hour long video ads are still pumping traffic and good numbers.
What's your timeline from start to finish to put together like a new VSL, like completely new one, in terms of time? And also, how much, like, would you invest some other like resources? Would you hire like voiceover artists? Like, would you kind of like, what other resources would you invest to put together this kind of like very solid VSL?
Okay, so let's say you have no VSL and we have to create it from scratch. Let's start from what we're selling and who's behind the product. So a company is for a supplement, is there a doctor behind? Is there a founder story that invented a new solution? Is there a passionate group of people trying to do something different on the market by selling their product? Whoever is behind, let's take that person behind and put it in front of the camera. So we have someone to represent the company. And I think that's very important nowadays, to create relatability between the viewer and the company, so they can look at someone in the face like us right now and hear directly words from them and their story and what they have to say. So I think that works very well nowadays. That's why personal brands are popping off like never before. Creator economy is a real thing. So let's take that. Once we know that there is someone willing to be in front of the camera, which is not something that goes, that's very important, because many companies, like I had a deal once with one of the Kardashians, and I was like, I asked all the right questions, but I forgot the most important question, which was, is the Kardashian ready to be in front of the camera and read a script that I provide? The answer was no, unfortunately. I was so pumped to work with Kardashian, because I was like, that's probably the biggest celebrity I worked with. So we need a script first, and we need someone to read it. We don't always need to have someone in front of the camera non-stop, but at least for a couple minutes at the very beginning. Because after that, nowadays, there are secret weapons like, not so secret, 11labs.com, that can recreate any voice. So I try to put in the voices of the people we work with, so we don't have to put them in front of the camera or on a mic. We can just script it, and we need to play around with the tonality, the fluctuations of the voice, and how similar we want it to be. So all the settings in the 11 Labs. And it's insane, man. It's insane how accurate it can be. So yeah, just to recap a bit. We need someone in front of the camera for the first minutes. We need a script, first of all, and we need to write it in such
like a professional, kind of like what you have seen working recently. Let's say you take like VSLs, right? You're probably familiar.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at it and it's kind of like, I mean, it's shot on the phone, like sometimes like in the vertical mode, it's like, it looks kind of ugly, right? But it still works. I mean, you see how many views they're generating. So what you have seen, particularly in your experience, does it need to be like super high, like
No.
lighting perfect, like
No.
face on point, everything? No. Okay.
No. You don't need a big budget. So you need a script, and ideally you write it yourself or a copywriter that understands retention and how to keep users engaged without giving. So we need a hook, and the hook can be created cheaply. We need a script, and that has to be read in front of the camera. And camera equipment doesn't cost too much. We can even use an iPhone if we really want to go cheap, and that's okay. It doesn't have to look professional. Even with a very simple background and one light, that's gonna work. The script is the most important part, and good video editing. Good video editing the end goal for a VSL is for the users to listen what we have to say. So audio, the ears are activated, the eyes are reading, and visually we're also communicating what we're talking about. So if I say, this supplement is going to help you because it's going to keep you hydrated, it's going to keep you focused, it's going to do all of this, we're visually communicating with the audio, with sound effects, with the captions. So all the senses are occupied with your video, and that is going to keep up retention a lot. We could talk about retention for hours. There is so much to it, but essentially we should focus on retention to keep the users engaged. And also the way we script the video, we need to slowly introduce your product. So a VSL is never going to work if you say like, you have a headache, buy this pill. It's gonna cure your headache. It's never gonna be that simple, because you're gonna immediately be like, oh, this is a f***ing ad, I wanna skip. So we need to present the pain, the big problem, make a big promise there is one solution to it, and it's not what you think. It's not an aspirin, it's not this, it's not that, it's this other thing. And then slowly introduce the solutions. But before, we also give them the hero story. This one founder of this company came up with this brilliant solution. He was featured in Forbes, CNN, CNBC, this and that. He wrote a book, whatever it is. Slowly talk about all the problems in depth. So we speak about anything that could lead to headaches, all the big problems that people can relate to. And then slowly we present solutions, and we pack all these solutions after 20, 30, 40 minutes into one big solution, which is your product. So you get the point. We have to slowly massage the back of the users. We need to create a relatability there. We need to educate them. Education. VSLs should be made to educate people around topics, any topic. So educate them, give them more before asking. So we give them information, we give them tips, we give them, suggestions to follow, and then we give them a solution. And then only at the end, you're gonna be allowed to ask them to buy your product. And by the way we write our script, we make them think themselves that they need the product. They're gonna be so nurtured by the information that we're giving them that they will want naturally to buy our product. So that's the ideal goal. So in terms of setup, easy. You use your phone for hooks. You have a good camera or even an iPhone and a tripod, and you start recording and reading your script. Ideally, you use a prompter, so you read. You always look. You keep eye contact, and use a script. I have a prompter right there for my other VSLs, and you have good video editing. Sorry, I talked a lot, but I think there should be so much to talk about, and we can put it in one interview.
Literally, it's like the kind of like for people that want to do it, there's literally what you mentioned. I mean, it's accessible to everyone, right? That there's apps that serve as teleprompter. It's literally no excuse for anyone who's watching this not to do like VSLs.
Yeah. I mean, it's like people always think like, oh, I don't have the equipment, I don't have this, I don't have that. I was like, cut the bullshit. So I have one student that is doing very well. Like, he started doing his VSLs without having any person in the video. So he would just use voiceovers and clips and never use a face of anyone. And that started working very well. So That's an MVP that you can create today without even involving studio work. If you're selling, I don't know, any gadget, for example, you can do that. And it can be like 3 to 5 minutes long, and you can see success already there if you're talking about gadgets. The higher the price point, the longer the VSL should ideally be, because it takes more time to convince them. But yeah, and then he went from doing these voiceover VSLs, faceless VSLs, to now invest in having an actual actor or someone representing the company to show up in the VSL. So it can be structures and time. If you think that then you need a complex, let's say, if you think you need to have a complex content production in place to do new hooks all the time, that's also not true, because once you found a winning VSL, and you see that the performance dies down after some time, you don't need to reshoot the whole VSL. You just need to reshoot new hooks. And the magic tool that I use for my VSLs is this little gadget right here, a phone that everyone has, and I just go from scrolling mode to shooting mode horizontal for my VSLs, and I record anything interesting that I see, or I record myself, because now I'm running VSLs also for my own brand. Or if it's for supplement, I record food, and then I put voiceover on it. 5 to 10 seconds video that you create, and if you say you don't have time for that, it's bullshit, because you have a phone, because you're probably watching this from your phone, so use it to shoot video. You don't even have to have the product to shoot. You don't even want to show the product in the first seconds. You want to show, if you're talking about headaches, shoot, I don't know, make weird drink that is like the key to solve the headache. And then, and it could be a supplement later on, but it starts from a drink and then it ends up in a pill, whatever it is. Like, create hooks that make sense, but hooks can be anything, literally anything. You can start even like, which drink is bad for you? Cola or water? Like anything, and then from there on, come to a conclusion that drinking water helps relieving headaches, the pain from headaches, but there are a few other things that you should consider, and then the VSL starts. And then we start considering all the other problems, and then go in order. You get the point. So if you watch VSLs on Vital, you filter for VSLs longer than 10 minutes that are unlisted, English speaking or any language. You can take inspiration from that, because unfortunately everyone does already, but it's okay. I think it's cool to have competition. So we need competition to improve.
Awesome.
Go copy.
What do you see like currently? You mentioned like US is the biggest market, massive opportunity market, but at the same time it is like more competitive. So which markets do you see opportunity in? Any particular markets in Europe, or kind of in other countries, maybe even in Asia, that you see there's just so much kind of like more like blue ocean with a lot of opportunity?
Yeah, so I think VSLs are not really, there are VSLs I see in France, in Italy, in Germany, but I think these countries are less exposed. So usually the best marketing tactics comes from Red Ocean, because they have to be good at marketing to compete with all these big sharks, in the sea. And then you can apply the same things in other oceans like Europe. It's less competitive. It's still competitive, but less compared to the US, because US is just the biggest market on the planet. So if you're applying Red Ocean tactics into blue oceans, you're gonna crack it, The scale could be different. So for example, when we imported products in India, we used the ads that we created for the Italian market, which had to be high quality. We were generating 1,000 sales per day effortlessly, because the CPMs were so low, and it was just amazing. The only reason why I stopped...
Was info products or was kind of...
No. Gadgets, e-com products. I was selling back then wallets. We had our Italian leather brand, and that we imported in India, and it was fantastic. The only problem we had was all the logistics and all the importing products in India can be painful. It's doable. It's being done. Managing all the cash on delivery issues and working with you need the right local partner to make it work in India. But India is an amazing country. Like, holy smokes! Like, you don't even need VSLs there. You just need good product pictures or short videos. Like it's nuts. Like I was so hyped. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do 200K a day here. And unfortunately, it stopped much earlier because of not because of marketing, but because of the logistical issues.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
Man,
are you doing any India?
No. We just like big four, main markets. Very competitive, as you said, extremely competitive. I mean, you have to kind of like innovate. But I know some people that are killing it, like in German market, for instance, like in UK. Swedish, like kind of like replicating the same concept. So I think there's a lot to it. If you're watching this, like start looking at, let's say, VSLs in the United States, try to replicate it, for your markets, and it probably will work. Like there's a lot higher likelihood. Probably it won't be as much scale, like, you probably will scale it, to 5, 10, 20, 30K a day, probably not 100, but it's still like a massive opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
So awesome, man. So how do people connect with you? If people want to, like, I don't know if you have any kind of like if you're helping clients with VSLs, anything like that, or if you just learn from you.
I'm big on Instagram, like as in I love Instagram, and it's my main platform together with YouTube. Just my name, Alex Micol. I have a course teaching affiliate marketing, and that gives perspective to brand owners and people that want to go from drop shipping or SMMA and go into a new niche, which is affiliate marketing. That's brilliant starting point. I think it's the best out there. In terms of VSL and content production, I have a waiting list, and I have some pre-sales that I'm releasing on my Instagram, and it's going to come out at the end of the year because it's heavily requested. I'm in the game of scale, and if I crack the mass market with a lower ticket offer, I can create any VSL course after that. I see people overpricing VSL courses, so I'll do a much better job at pricing it at a lower price. And yeah, so follow me on Instagram, go on my YouTube. And Alex, thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
It was a spontaneous thing we did. We just met in Barcelona. So.
Yeah. So I've learned, like, and I think that the key of kind of like just also like summarize the main like takeaways is that even like simpler structure, like you don't have to be super sophisticated with because people might be looking at the some of the most like defenses like VSLs, right? Like high production value, like some very popular actors, or like the authority figures that are like very solid, and they might get frightened that or scared that oh, it's like I have to go like super fancy. But one of the key points what you said is that you don't have to go fancy. Like you can still get amazing results, get initial traction, make money, make profit from doing VSLs that are a lot simpler. Get that initial momentum, learn in the process as well, and then you can reinvest, and then you can hire like better actors, then you can hire studios if necessary, like buy stock content if you need to, or shoot some extra stock content. So I think that's a very, very inspiring, and I'll encourage.
We should have said this at the beginning. You can make VSLs with no money. We can clip this, put it at the beginning.
You can make this. So in this interview, we'll show you how to make VSLs with no money on a very low budget, and Alex will spill the beans and we'll share the secrets.
See, peace.
It's been a great pleasure. I know you're a busy man, and I think we'll be connecting. This industry is constantly changing, so we'll be connecting for round 2, and see how everything goes.
Yeah, man. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone, for watching, and let's get into VSLs.